So I made it to Gomwa Adabra, and we're going, we're working. So I saw a family on the farm, and I just want to head to the farm and have a conversation with them. Let's see how it goes. Praying that we will be accepted to be talked to or not. But as you can see, I think they're growing cassava. They're growing cassava. So this is how the cassava starts. You can see. This is how the cassava starts. And this is the early stages. This is the early stages. You can see the palm plants down in the middle. And there's corn in the middle as well. So we are heading towards the gentleman and his son, I think. I don't know. I'll ask him to find out how it all started. Let's see how it goes. But it's a very peaceful community though. See, you see it? You see how beautiful it is? Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. So you can see Gomwa Adabra. Very beautiful place. Your appointment. I can find them no every day. That's my finding. They and a pay and a Okoboy Abri. Menenum, Mammy and the Mukon question. Video Abrabo or in Crashing as in this multi compared to the attacker and I took myself to attack. Mammy forgot. I remember I had them the first time. I'm the order I'm so. But you're from Kojo? Atta. Oh, okay. Atta no chair there. Entafu. Inti I Atta pain and Atta Kaka. Atta pain. Into Kakari. Oh, okay. One more from okay. So guys, listen. Welcome to my village lifestyle. I'm here at Gomwa Adabra. Gomwa Adabra, having a conversation with my brother Atta Pain. So he's Atta and I'm Kojoba. You know, whenever we say Atta, it means twin. So he's a twin. So I was asking about, and I think that's the message also passing in front of us, heavily due. And so when I asked him about, so if since he's his twin, where is his twin? And he's telling me that his twin passed away. So when they were babies, so maybe we'll get to hear the story or not. But that is his farm. This is his farm. And like I was saying in the introduction, he's basically growing cassava, he's growing maize, and I see Edia Banchina. Oh, okay. So he farms cassava, he farms plantain, and he farms maize too. And that's the wife standing there, and the little boy. Come back. Oh, so I was trying to pick him up. He's not coming. Let's see. How many years?
Oh, but not the start.
That's a from mom. Oh, okay.
Make a school and make a school and town make a school and make a good. Oh, maybe a school. And I make a cool cushion.
Oh, okay.
The cushion missing him.
Work as well. It's a tomb, so I would done.
Maybe missing.
Oh, wow. Missing a Jumana at the beginning. Okay. It's weekdays and I missing a Juma. Weekends. Oh, okay. So his conversation with him, he's telling me that he's been farming since he was a kid. He was a low man, and as a matter of fact, he used to go to school and farm at the same time. So he would go to school, and when he closes from school, he would come back to farm. But when he after school, he decided to move to Kaswa, which is a sub. Kaswa is actually part of the central region, not even Accra, but Kaswa is very close to Accra. So you would think that Kaswa is part of Accra. So he went to learn masonry in Kaswa, and so he's actually a professional mason that can actually build your house. So guys, those of you who want to come to Ghana and come and stay in the villages, my brother Atta is a solid mason that would do well and wonderful with your houses. It may have the kakam. Eddie mason, Eddie compare Eddie ball. I together with from a Kojumano. After that,
often a banning to him and Abano. I said that in Tate Ban Papa.
You'll be here. And yeah, for the Okakotan.
Oh, I can some. Yeah, we are actually no, yeah, metal.
Oh, okay.
Metal being stove, Madia.
Oh, okay. So he says it's not just basically what he's doing is that he does his masonry work, but he farms at the same time to support with the house, meaning that he doesn't have to spend money buying food and whatnot because he grows whatever he wants to eat, and at the same time when the harvest becomes a lot, what he does is that he goes to the market and sells some of them. Easy one cause ways ban or to them.
Oh, a good one.
A good one. Because it's one no yes what can them do in common.
Yeah.
I was in one, I didn't wedding. I was in one. And for chemicals behind that.
The grass said by as a criminal. A bandage of crab, a grass baban, you might 3 days for this, and I want and to come a ban open your bedroom. No, a banner at a big by one week as I was like. By glasses, if I fresh nanny, 10 years.
Yeah. So he's actually giving a solid point that most of the food that comes into the cities, what happens is that it takes about 3, 4, 5 days before the food can come to the city. So by the time it gets there, it loses its strength. It's not fresh. But if you're in the village, you eat everything fresh from the farm. You go to the farm, you plug it, less than a day, straight from the earth, straight from the mother earth, it comes into you. So you feel strengthened and you feel every nutrient, everything the earth is giving you, you feel it. But if it comes to the village, most of the things start dying on the way. Some even spend over a week before we actually go to the market and buy them.
Yes.
I mean, let me be amazing. Come on, walk there. I was going to tell you one pay cool in there. You suit on that, and then you sound to Nejumana Bassa.
Since Santa, Edmond Ye. Since Sutada,
the CCI, ABCC, and Subotobio.
Oh, says I'm my age. Says I'm maybe my age. See, I brought out of country. Say, Busmi, not or the crana on your feet.
On your feet. Oh, okay.
I da I had a cranny a blue. Now by Canada, the way I did I did, and she not to be crying your feet.
Oh,
And then your feet.
not more at this idea.
And Kitoi, and Kitoi, and a Santa, and she not saying to be man. Big and Cocodo, a big blue woman, and Sunuta. I met the one of my sign.
So he's saying that I was asking him because people say because of the rainy season, when the rain goes off, it doesn't make the job interesting. But what he's saying is that so long as they get to this stage in the rains, it's good. Because once it gets to this stage, it doesn't die. Maybe the only even if it doesn't rain anymore, it doesn't die. The only thing that may die will be the corn. But the the very young ones, some of them might die. But even with that, when the rain starts falling again, what he does is that he just regrow or replant those areas that died. And I had assassin boys in the assassin.
It shas as a age model.
It could be.
Oh, Say, Nin, Yasa, little dear, let how my house the number in Chad and yet. And it depend acres do here.
To 1 acre by
It depend acres do what never go now, 1 acre more.
Oh. So I was asking about the land and how to get it. You want so what's that?
Men and more.
One and more. Oh, okay. So I was asking about the land. This actually belongs to the ancestors or the family members. So it's a family land, basically. But if you want to get a land here, what you only do is that you go and negotiate with the owners of the land. Then they will pay the number of acres you are getting would help them decide how much it's going to cost. So some, you see, the prices vary per where you go to. If we jumano, soon in some moment, a year juma, or their bompay or their
Oh, in fact, what they say in Paddis India, the Solana power say bompay. And did I say bompay? And to another could man when you say a coffee, a do an answer, the Basham say,
Bank of Yadam.
Obimu, Obimu, the blue share away from what you
do. What is your phone?
Oh, yeah. And we are all what my own boy. Maybe the carry now, or I can try with you. The mother. And the back of a drabber shed, maybe I'm at the name.
Oh, matters.
And after the back of a drabber shed with him. What natural?
Oh. Listen, guys. So what he's saying is that, so these are actually two parts. This is the part that is grown, and the other side is not really grown. So I asked him, I'm trying to understand farming and spirituality, how that work together. And he's saying that as a human being, when you wake up, you just got to learn to give thanks. Like I teach you guys all the time, you just have to wake up and give thanks. Just be grateful that you have life, that you have your family around. So with him, you do that before you go to sleep. You do that as well. But what people actually do is that, for example, if he was shared boundaries with another person, another farmer, and the farmer came to see how grown his plantation is, then probably the farmer will go be jealous of it. So out of jealousy, this other farmer will go in for an obia, what you guys could know as obia or juju or a god or something. I'm trying to find a word for it, and use it on his farm. So what happens is that it's two ways. Either what he goes for would destroy his farm so that his farm, the other person's farm, can grow, or what they do is that they actually put the spiritual stuff on their farm. And whilst the stuff is there, this is the interesting part, it siphons the growth of his farm. It's insane. So whilst it's there, it's siphoning, it's taking away the growth of his farm. So every growth that needs to come here gets transferred. Oh, your home. Inti aja oil mama do there. Inti some coffee in answer. The Mukoje drew. Name that boshum obi ne Nesban akone. Abenson won who them answer no. Okay, them na Mukoje drew. The man is a no when you know Mama can I add that?
Matters,
because say
matters,
2 minutes but my the man.
Didn't quite enough find your water.
And find your man so was it. I've been wouldn't be a dinner pigeon, wouldn't be a woman, get a people boy. A man be war. Before I ever started my main church. So what I'm asking him is that if the power or the juju or the obia has enough power to siphon, see the intelligence here, he has enough power to siphon somebody's farm and bring it to your farm. Why don't you go for it to grow yours so that you don't have to envy anybody's, right? So you go for the juju, whatever you want to call it, to grow your farm. Why don't you? And he's mesmerized about it, but he's about to tell us a story.
Ninja American son, man, you will never am whole. I think for you. Would your cuckoo? My brand, no could just as no cowboy crack, or one son of the man and on sort of cohon. Monso could just as in a win away. Man and could just a druid the sea on an edge. 10 year book, Coco Tamuson, Bacon and Cocoon so I saw. The song more in her boy him. The piano cocoon to myself. Son, I work with you in Chuma, a near friend in Chuma.
In Chuma?
Yes. A friend in Chuma. A near friend in Chuma. You will could just see on the cocoa. Says I'm new janitor to see. Man, why are by a look at 2 years in your defense?
Oh, wow.
Well, could you talk more? Or my blam will crack still.
For the one,
At on apple. One now, wait to a class of it. The no one is young construction house.
you breathe on your other papa.
You bring out papa.
I'm the Biasa McCain there. Say, but can't you do now? Why there? At the best say you're busy. Because a been maybe they've been wanted soon as a massive.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Inti walk as in a happening point who will be neither say or you'll be there. What you home from fantastic? You see, I'm trying to understand that. Why do we celebrate someone's downfall? I mean, just the story that we heard. Why do you celebrate someone's downfall? Why do you get excited when somebody is going down? Why can't we be a people that we want to see everybody grow? Why can't we be a people that want to see everybody do well, everyone do well? It seems so hard and almost impossible to have that lifestyle. We always have to think the negative. It doesn't make sense. You see, not a just some
Oh, because
but
but me man has a person
phone which but
by me man
boss
more
tomorrow
but I met it
and phone which not a Elko Chapel. Elko Chapel. Fortek. So I'm asking him. So I'm asking if the powers and the powers that be and the authorities do as this. He says yes, they do as this, but he doesn't put himself into such because he's an SDA person and he goes to the SDA church. So that's the Seventh-day Adventist. So he's a Sabbatarian. He observes the Sabbath. So that's what. But they exist, but he doesn't get in. But more I mean, imagine that. Chazina Ekajunu and find you'll be born. Let the boy one can say, you do 2 points. And they my BBI be offered as one call for one to support that. I did one.
Nina, no, one. I done all could end it. You are warding your day. You could get that one call into your bonama. By any nature or a bonama or Yankopon.
One minute, so I'm asking him that I think if you become spiritual and you use it for yourself and your family and the well-being of everybody around you, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I want to ask him what he thinks, and he says that it's a sin, and it's a sin to the Creator. And I want to find out why. Since the education as a papa.
And Yankopon was on me, oh, sir, yes, on no bad. May and find me for food Yankano.
The media Bible.
Yes, what's the many find me for food Yankano?
Yamena or Bible?
Yes,
I'm not looking at
yes. It is a coffer. What's some wage man at the way here? I am for intimate some Yankopon Wankasa, none sang cosum. The man now required a bossman. The man required to die with bossman. The new soon
so he says that it's a sin because It's a sin because the God of the Bible says that you cannot worship any other apart from Him because He is the God of the Bible. So you going into such, it means that you're literally going to worship that thing, that power, that authority, that spirituality that you're going for. So to Him, according to the God of the Bible, it's a sin because you are going into other dimensions. I'm the Monkwaso. Nti Monkwaso ba mo bompai. Nti Mami jizi in there. Na nzema bebre wa yam papa na me ya yan tase. Na yam perso day ye betase ye be chi na yatase. Nti yan tase ntina entase yi won ntina no hu sunsando. Or busy yenches ye be hu question because me ante nzema wa ye na se. Say ye tasa nka yen kwaji bibi de ye de ba be bibi. Nka mesma ne yan papa no wa ye kwana no wona madu no na ye be namdo ba yen fan ya as a fofo. Honestly mu hu de wa madam sunsandin na aban me so legitimate. So what I'm saying is that I think personally that we've lost touch of our father's spirituality, the spiritualities of our father's way, and because we've lost touch, we don't understand what they were into and what they were involved in, and because we do that, we want shortcuts. We want shortcuts. We want to do something quick, and because of that reason, that is why we have spiritual consequences and things that fight against us. But if we actually were able to grasp what our fathers did and the intelligence of our father's spirituality, then it would help us. So I'm asking him, because he's the SDA, I'm the non-church guy, so I'm asking him if what I'm saying is true, and he actually agrees to what I'm saying. The oil is by Akuchiana or So he's saying that, listen, if you want, you guys that wants to come to Ghana, in fact, I'll take his number. From there. I'll take his number. Those of you who want to come to Ghana and come into farming and all of that, listen, we can always contact him, and you know what we are doing in this community, aside getting our own stuff. But what he's saying is that it's tough, it's hard, but the reward is better. So if you want to go into farming, don't look at it as an easy chore you're just going to do, and it's hard work. You got to wake up every time, come early, come and encounter things that I'm about to ask you. You see, if you born as a button,
I bought in the first one. You're behind the stomach.
Okay. The about born in what about born in
oh, the stomach, the first and now, and walk a sack of so on by the stomach.
About born or more welcome to
first, I will be to the or 3 ago or a friend Yamu, or didn't so friend Cocotte. I'm at the moment. Matty didn't Cocotte, my moon, or the people saying people. I saw the people. No, two will be I saw the people, but almost people. Don't know who to my tattoo. Said, honestly, who him poke by. Oh, him for a good way. But one man or dozen. First, I walk upon one of my dozen, or quit there, or dozen. He said, here, what in the book here? And I said, oh, say what here, what in the book here? Or say, about time, last one. Masanya them must say, cook, say your waffle ponic to not to move the imina. Oh, what say, and being ya. Oh, wow. Because women one since now work time. A be more since now time. And to walk or being cracked to me down on him.
Hey, shit, mama cheche you man sana. So okay, make sure na see. Inti ebi oh chain. Ebi dan yipa. Mboa na o sunsum wom. Wo tumi dan yipa. Wo ba krom. Wo ba fie. Ehun bi da.
Man kasa mo medem hu bi da bat.
Ete.
Yeah. Man kasa mo medem hu bi da. Ba homa wo hu bi na. Wo kama.
Nti wo ba fie obede. Obezizi ya na obede. Otum bo wara.
Oh that.
Nti wo dan won hu obeye bibia no asanko.
Yeah.
Listen guys.
Na yare nyimpe ya so abefu mu a abefu na wo yi mu no. Otum dan aboa.
What did buy food?
Yes. Otum dan aboa ba fum bi.
Only the matter be that.
Nti homa offer na abofo na wo ko so. Nem fa that they know wo papa. No wo papa nti ono de
not I was stories at what time and committee them stories baby. So basically what he's saying is that what he's saying is that some of the animals are very strong-willed and strong-spirited. So what happens is that they are actually able to turn into human beings and come to the house and come and eat. Just as we have some of the witches that also turn into animals and come onto your farm and come and eat. So there's cross gender, lack of a better word, because both dimensions are able to turn. I've actually not heard too much about animals turning into human beings. I know spirits use animals to certain powers, but it makes sense. The power behind the animal can transform into a human being. So this is where Transformers are getting the ideas from. This is where the movie Transformers are getting the ideas. Wow, I know they're powerful.
But this time the damn now
when you into Abbas into when you want every walk with children and walk on. And wait for you.
When you ask. The book will be parable. I don't want to.
That's a walk on no way. We are now. Look on.
Okunkumbi maybe so. Sabo abo now also what time I would do. And the moon kun in net times on the way. It's the first one. First in more pan and the Fuma could wait now put in away without. And the Mabo could be now.
So he's saying most of these animals are extinct now. They are not necessarily there now, but those days they were all over the place, and you would encounter most of these animals. Wow.